Hey folks, this is Vent with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Siralim Ultimate. This is a game that's coming to Steam's Early Access program fairly soon, March 12th, 2021. It goes without saying that everything that you're about to see here, including this review, is subject to change. In fact, I'm more inclined to call this a first impression, so simply because of the enormous depth to this game. There is a lot here. I've played it for about 2.5 hours now, and I'm barely scratching the surface of it. So why are you reviewing this game then, Vince? Why are you bothering us with a video when you should be spending 3,000 hours in the game before bothering to review it? I get that a lot. So, first of all, let me just address real quick that I've played the game long enough to know whether or not I like it and to give you some feedback on how the game typically plays. Did I unlock everything? No. What can I tell you about this? Well, first of all, this is a monster catching game of sorts. This game reminds me a little bit of Monster Sanctuary. Monster Sanctuary is this 2D monster catching game with some platforming elements, very light platforming elements, and you can level up your monsters as you find them. This game isn't a 2D platformer, it's more of a top-down dungeon crawler, but the amount of creatures in this game that you can possibly capture and put on your own team it's ginormous, okay? So you are this, I hesitate to use the word Pokemon trainer, but that's basically what you kind of are. You don't actually do any battle, your monsters do the battle for you. There are over 1,300 different creatures in this game, and you're going to be going on run after run after run. You're going to choose a dungeon depth, and then that typically determines the difficulty level of that particular dungeon. So 1 is easiest, then 2, then 3, and so on. And then there's different biomes that you can go into, and each biome has different classes of creatures that have different effects. So there's that. You can even fuse these creatures together, and the offspring will inherit the parent's stats and traits and the way they look. I have not gotten to that point yet. That is further down the line. These randomly generated dungeons that you're going to be coming across, they are pretty basic. Again, think like Dragon Warrior, where it's just a top-down guy with his monsters following him. Dragon Warrior 1, not so much because it was just the one guy, but the following Dragon Warriors, where you actually had a party of people, it reminded me of that a little bit. And you're going to be just navigating the area, revealing the fog of war. Most of the time, it's going to be interacting with objects on the ground, hitting E to make this bush go away or to collect something, collect resources. There's 5 different currencies in this game, and those currencies you bring back with you to... At the blacksmith, you'll be crafting artifacts to equip to your monsters, or spell gems, or you can enchant with the enchantress. You can use another type of currency to unlock new monsters to add to your party. You can have up to 6 monsters in your party at once. So yeah, you'll be able to take the currency that you're earning and do all that. But again, when you're in a dungeon and you're going around, there is this god that I ran into that you start with, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more. You're going to be doing side quests for him, like randomly generated quests to earn favor with him, and that favor is persistent throughout your game. So let's say you go into dungeon level 1 and you go around, you set off these traps that earn you 25 favor per trap that you set off, or if you happen to do the side quest, you get 200 favor with that god. Fine. Then you leave that dungeon, and you come back to level 1 again. That's persistent. Or if you go to level 2, that's persistent. So the whole reason why you're leveling up this favor with this god is so that you can unlock new things. It's sort of like a store, and you can turn in these tokens, or these favor tokens, or whatever they're called, to this god in order to unlock new monsters and even decorate your house, your main area that you come back to once you're done dungeon delving. So yeah, there's some decorating too, which I haven't really dabbled with either. So yeah, you're going to be constantly going in and out of these dungeons, earning resources, coming back, unlocking new monsters. Your monsters do level up with you. So as you're doing a dungeon run, your monsters will level up after every battle. Battles, again, are very basic. It's like a turn-based Dragon Warrior kind of thing. What I like about this game, though, is that you can set macros, and there's a turbo mode that you can turn on. So a macro is something like it's a programmable setting that you can assign. So like there's like 50 macros plus, I think, that you have access to, like just blank templates, and you can go macro 1. If any enemy has the lowest health, then tell this creature to attack it. So and there's a number of different array of choices that you can pick. And you can assign these different macros to these different monsters. And when you enable that turbo mode, you can just hold in the E button, and the game will automatically basically auto-attack for you, or auto-do whatever the macro is telling these current creatures to do. You're going to assign a macro to each creature, and then you can turn that turbo mode on and do that, which is kind of cool. I think the biggest draw to me is the different specializations that the players will have access to when they first create their game. There's 30 different specializations from my understanding. There may be more on the way. But you're going to run into things like a cleric, and that's the one that I chose. The cleric specializes in healing abilities. The 2 unicorns that I started with, one could resurrect after every attack, and the other one healed every time, healed another character for every attack that he did. So I had these 2 constantly feeding off of each other. But again, you get more monsters as you play. But the cleric is more like healing abilities. The druid benefits from having a smaller party. The hell knight favors creatures that specialize in attacking. You've got an inquisitor, which supposedly has a solution for every problem you encounter. They're able to use healing effects for offensive purposes, just as an example. Monks will boost your creature's chance to dodge attacks and spells. When they do dodge, they'll unleash a devastating counterattack on the enemy. There's necromancer, paladin, sorcerer, trickster. So you're going to choose one of these specializations, and you will be able to switch between these specializations as you play, but not right away. I have the cleric one unlocked right now, and more supposedly I'll be able to unlock as I continue playing. How that will scale and how the things will carry over between, I don't know, but it's possible. You also gain these perk points. And these perk points can be assigned to your character to grant you some kind of benefit. For example, I'm looking now. There's the Guiding Light perk that I've been focusing heavily on. And it says, at the start of battle, your creatures gain a barrier that absorbs damage equal to 19% plus 1% per rank of their maximum health. And again, that 19% will change. I have 19 perk points in this thing. That's why it's 19%. So I'm trying to make my guys as tanky as possible and healy as possible. Inner Light, your creatures take 1% less damage from all sources, 1% per rank, that is. And again, that's just for the cleric. And then once you switch to, say, a different specialization, you'll have access to different things that are available. Now, this game is endless, so in theory, you'll be able to just continue leveling up creatures. There's no max level or anything like that. So you can just continue grinding out as much as you want. There is a mastery section, which I have not unlocked yet. Creatures will each have their own trait that will benefit your party in some way. For example, those unicorns I was talking about. The one that attacks and then heals a random ally for 200% of the damage it deals, that's one trait. Nature of the beast is one. I have this dire wolf or whatever it's called. Your creatures start battle with 3 stacks of dire wolf. This trait does not stack. Actually, I think it's a hellhound that I have. Anyway, sweeping smash for this other creature that I have. After this creature attacks, it deals 70% of damage dealt to adjacent enemies. So you can sort of combo different creatures together. You can even like summon using your resources, the same creature over and over again. So you can have a party of 6 of these hellhounds if you want to. Or, so as long as you've unlocked the ability to craft that creature or summon it, you can do that. And again, you can assign artifacts and relics to these different creatures to give them bonuses. You can even upgrade these artifacts with gem slots. and then assign gems to these artifacts to make them better, similar to like a Diablo, say. So there's that. This game, like I said, has a lot of depth. I think the two biggest problems that I have with it, lack of mouse support, and that kind of leads me into something else. Lack of ease of access to information. So for example, that one Hellhound that I had has that dire wolf trait. Like, it's a special thing that enables this dire wolf status. So I'm like, okay, I'm here in the creatures section of the menu, and I'm browsing these traits, and I'm going, dire wolves, what does that mean? There's no way to see what that means unless I back out, go to Codex, I think it is, Codex, then reference lists, then down to traits. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not there. There's bombardment, divine mending, nature of the beast. It says your creatures start battle with 3 stacks of dire. Okay, so that's not it. So I need to go back out of there, maybe go into, back out of there, maybe game information, maybe character. So, like, just to find the information that I'm looking for, stuff is, like, buried. Menus within menus within menus. Once you get used to the menus, fine. But as a new player to the game, I'm 2 hours plus into this, and I'm still not able to find things easily. That's why I think mouse support would have been ideal. Let's say that you've got your creature pulled up, and you see the dire wolf status there in the description. Hover my mouse, I would love to hover my mouse over it, and it gives me a description of what it is. So I don't have to go hunting through various codex menus trying to find the stupid ability so I can read more about it. Like, that's my biggest problem with the game right now. It's just the information is just buried all over the place, and if you're not familiar with the game, it's going to overwhelm you to the point of, frustration. And again, that kind of brings me back to, this game is extremely complex, so why it doesn't have the mouse support or these tooltip these tooltip functions, I don't know. That's something that I think that needs to be addressed. If it is in the game, I haven't found it. One thing I do like I said, is under the gameplay options menu, you can turn on the turbo mode. There's a fast double movement speed mode that you can turn on. There's knowledge notifications or like tooltips that pop up from time to time, and so on. So, for a pre-early access game, it's pretty darn good. The gameplay and the depth are, I think, the main selling points here. The art style is okay. It's not going to win any awards in the graphics or art department. It's very pixely. It's fine, but I mean, if you were bothered by, say, Dragon Warrior graphics in Days of Yore, then you're going to look at this going, ugh. But, again, I think the reason why this game appeals to me is because of the massive amount of depth to it. The amount of grinding that one can do in this game. But I have to warn you, along with those lines, the game can get very repetitive. Just because, again, you're going to go into a dungeon. First you pick your level, pick your biome, go into the dungeon, kill stuff, do some random side quests, come back. Hopefully you don't die. There's no death penalty in this game aside from something called treasure. I think it's called treasure. And as your character stays alive and beats monsters and does quests, you earn treasure. And treasure is the percentage of loot that you a bonus percentage to the loot that you find in your battles. So the more you stay alive, the bigger the rewards get because your bonus to loot percentage will be higher. But when you die, that resets to 0 and you'll have to start from scratch. You still earn loot, just not as much as you were before until you level up that treasure bonus to loot thing again. So again, there's a lot more to this game that I did not cover, but I do recommend adding it to your wish list if you enjoy games like Monster Sanctuary, or you enjoy min-maxing or team building, the idea of a Pokemon Diablo-esque hybrid, then definitely check this out. If you guys haven't already, subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube, that way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.